That note, I can just picture that note like being tapped on the shoulder and turning around going,
Like they were supposed to keep going. But
yeah, that note was interrupted.
because I thought they were going to keep going. I thought they were like, but then the end. All right, people.
Oh, wow. That's fucking...
Oh, shit. Oh, rock.
Oh!
Rock. Rockin' and rollin'.
Now I'm curious, what the fuck instrument was that? It sounds too masterful to be a armpit.
I think it's a very talented armpit. I didn't want to go as far as to say somebody's a very talented
I
farter.
thought it was like a kazoo or something.
It could be a kazoo, but it sounds like somebody's armpit or somebody's ass. I don't know. But, use your imagination, whatever makes you feel better. But, okay, we got people. It's late, so we're not going to go all night with these emails here.
Yeah,
co-host needs to be shut down. We went on long enough.
Been a long night.
It has been a long night. But there's one guy. I'm going to go ahead and answer his email because he is pissed.
Let's do it. Let's calm him down.
He wrote me an email.
Gotta hose him down.
Yeah, a while back. Yeah, he's like, God damn it, fuck you, Corey. We're gonna answer my fucking question. Okay. All right, Kyle. Just from Kyle. There's the answer. Fuck your thoughts. Time for fuck your thoughts. The email section of the show. So Kyle Scott says, I am a graphic design major at Memphis College of Art, and I love the James Bond films. Now, what does that have to do with anything?
Wow. Okay,
good.
That's a lot of information.
Yeah.
Good for you.
And watch, this question is not going to have anything to do with design or James Bond. He says, I love the James Bond films so much that I am working on doing my graduate thesis on the culture of James Bond and how it influences not only my design, but all design. Shit, James Bond got a far reach. My question is, why do you think the James Bond franchise has been so successful over the years? This is a question for Colwyn. So he said, do you and Carlisle like the James Bond films? And if so, what is your favorite?
That makes more sense. Yeah.
He says, thank you for answering my question. And sorry, my broke college ass couldn't make it to the Austin Spill party. Fucking love the show. You guys really do help me get through a long week of intense art school projects. He act like he's busting rocks in a prison or something.
He ain't talking to me. He's talking to you and Carlisle.
You making it sound like you like you making license plates or something.
Yeah.
I mean, you get a good education. Cherish that.
You got a lot of educated fans over on that other show you do.
I know. We get ones that just what do people say?
Dear Carlisle, this is what I do. I'm a major. I major in coolness.
Yeah, we get emails like, "Hey, did you see the Vanessa Hudgens? She got more naked pictures for our show."
I actually prefer
for Coleman's. We get questions like, "I'm doing my thesis on James
doing
Bond.
my thesis on James Bond and his influence on the world."
Dear Corey and Carlisle, I made my rocket today.
What are some of your influences and how you picture
I am
the
a
world
rocket
should
scientist, and I major at MIT, and I am actually building my first robot.
Who is your favorite double agent?
What movies would you program him to love?
Do you prefer grey poupon or yellow mustard on your hot dog?
On your sausage wiener.
Yes. Please ponder while I work on my thesis and await your answer.
Eagerly awaiting your answer. Professor Scott Kyle.
Did I tell you I'm doing my master thesis on the newest iMac?
I am recently building a holodeck to take the place of 3D in motion pictures. Let's see. Okay. My favorite James Bond movie to date is probably, and I know a lot of people are going to say, are you serious? But it is Casino Royale. Mm-hmm. The remake. Not that Woody Allen original.
Not the comedy?
Not the comedy, no.
Wasn't that a Woody Allen movie?
Did he direct that? I don't know.
I don't know if he directed it or wrote it or had some kind of involvement with that. But maybe I'm wrong. But more than likely, I'm wrong.
But yeah, James. See, all the James Bond movies, they got pretty hokey after the first movie, Dr. No. after Dr. No, that's when we started getting into the gadgets, and we started getting into the puns. And
no, it got ridiculous. Yeah, Moonraker took it to a whole new level of ridiculousness.
Man, like even Goldfinger, that's a classic James Bond movie. I love it. I love Thunderball. Yeah. I even love a lot of the Pierce Bronson movies.
I like the first one that he did, GoldenEye.
Yeah. I like not The World's Not Enough, but the last one where Madonna sung the theme song, which I totally hated.
You got me on that one. The James Bond I didn't really care too much for was the Timothy Dalton James Bond films.
Yeah, the Timothy Dalton ones, those are forgettable.
They're completely forgettable.
But they all kind of followed the same pattern of he goes in, he gets gadgets, he fights a supervillain,
right,
and then he moves on to the next film.
It always seemed, a lot of girls. All those films, they all seem like the same film after a while.
But Dr. No was made like back in 1962, and that one didn't have Q, the guy who gave him the gadgets.
Yeah,
he wasn't making a lot of puns. He was very cold-hearted. Like the closest thing he made to a pun was like somebody came in to assassinate him, and James Bond was hiding somewhere.
Yeah,
and when the guy thought he shot James Bond in the bed, he pulled it back, and of course, there's some pillows and some covers and. So James Bond comes out and he's like, your weapon only holds 6 weapons and you've used all your 6. And he just shoots the guy. You know? And so I think Casino Royale was a throwback to like what James Bond really is. Like he's ruthless.
Right.
He's also not all about the jokes and the puns, but he's about getting the job done. He's not, and he also showed his loyalty to his country.
Yeah.
Like he really is out there trying to defend the honor of not only save the world, but the honor of the Queen.
Yeah.
So
I mean, yeah, the newer version of him, yeah, it's a 007 you can believe. You know, it's a double agent you really can. You can watch that film and realize, yeah, this guy he's a badass for a reason. You know. Because this motherfucker's like crawling walls like Spider-Man, and he's kicking ass, and he don't have time to make jokes.
No, he does not.
Plenty of time to blow up shit, but no time for jokes.
No, and I think the one movie that was probably was a departure from all of the other James Bond movies is in Her Majesty's Secret Service, which James Bond, George Lazenby.
Is that the one at the end? I think he gets married.
Yeah,
his wife ends up getting killed.
Yeah, and
and that was. I saw that on TV one time, and I had no idea it was a 007 movie till at the end. But it was a very strange flick. I wanted to check it out only because I was like, wow, it's like serious tragedy happened at the end. And when you find out it's 007, you're like, oh, fuck. Why have I never heard of this film? But
yeah, no, it was because it was a very soft James Bond, and I think even kept it a little bit of that in Casino Royale with him like losing somebody that he cared about and just becoming very ruthless after that.
Well, it kind of made sense in that movie. It sets up how he ends up being.
And Daniel Craig was a great James Bond. I mean, he brought that toughness back to James Bond, where James Bond before was just kind of like it was turned into a comedian.
No, it was a total joke. I mean, it was every 007 movie after GoldenEye seemed like a parody of 007, you know?
Yeah.
And even a few of the Sean Connery, you know? The thing is, I find it hard to watch some of the Sean Connery 007s only because I think when Austin Powers started making fun of that, making fun of the whole secret agent thing, watching those older Sean Connery films, you can't help but reference a lot of those jokes to Austin Powers. Well, you can't help but think about Austin Powers when you're watching that movie, you know, because they're poking fun at all those movies. So it's really hard to watch them, you know, and you know, think that world is all that serious. You know?
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, they became very much parodies, and Daniel Craig's James Bond showed a guy who relied on his toughness and his dedication to his job instead of relying on gadgets and a bunch of stupid puns, and that. And then the it wasn't directed by Woody Allen, the old Casino Royale.
Yeah,
who did that? I don't know who did.
Oh, okay.
I just know that it didn't have him. Woody Allen was in it.
He was in it, right?
Yeah, he was. And
there you go.
And Peter Sellers was in it.
Oh, okay.
And David Niven was in it.
Wow. I'd actually like to check that out. I think I've seen like bits and pieces of it.
Yeah, it's.
but I've never seen the whole thing.
No, I've seen it. It's not that good of a movie.
Oh,
It's
really?
actually pretty
Okay.
silly. Okay, we'll hear. Please answer this for LTD. God damn it! Well, since you got
That's
some
our
nice-
show. That's right.
Okay, and here we get an ignorant question, and it comes from that guy, and that guy says, "What are some of the most badass animated fight scenes that are full of fuck yeah that you have ever seen? Love the show. Don't stop and die." We don't plan on.
Try not to. Ninja
That-
Scroll.
Yeah,
That movie, watching that fucking, I was so pumped watching that, especially with all the crazy characters in that film, and just the violence. It's the first time watching an anime like that. I was like aware of how just ridiculously violent they can get with those films.
Yes.
But at the same time, still hold like a hard edge to it. Where it wasn't goofy. But a lot of the action sequences in those, I mean, I'm still hoping to see a movie like that at some point. A live action film.
they got Ninja Assassin.
I was about to say Ninja Assassin, which I saw tonight. I think.
Well, don't say anything about it. We got.
Yeah.
We're on.
But I'll say that came pretty close.
Okay, yeah, no,
Yeah.
it really is a big anime,
Yeah, it is.
big violent anime.
Yeah.
I would say this. Now, I'm talking about the Japanese instead of American movies because I can't really think of any of American movies that really had like kick-ass fight scenes.
Kick-ass fight scenes, animated.
I'm trying to think if Disney had some in some of their movies.
You know what? Majority of the Justice League Unlimited, and if we're talking about just straight up animation, the Batman series, the Justice League, and Batman Beyond, specifically Justice League Unlimited and Batman Beyond.
Okay.
I thought a lot of those fight scenes were just great. I mean,
Really?
I'll throw in some of those DVDs just to watch certain fight scenes. Especially there's a great fight scene involving Superman and Shazam, Captain Marvel, where they just duke it out in the city that Lex Luthor built, and it's the type of fight that you could only you would really wish to see in a Superman film, where characters are going through fucking buildings, buildings are collapsing while these two superhuman characters are beating the fuck out of each other.
Okay.
And it's awesome. I mean,
All right. I think for me, there's three, and I'll name a couple of Japanese and I'll name an American one because the American one was actually influenced by Japanese animation. The two Japanese that I'm thinking about, one is probably hard to find Japanese anime, and I think it was created by the guy who created Appleseed, which is a famous Japanese manga and anime, and it's called Black Magic M66. And I mentioned this anime before because there is a really kick-ass fight scene. I mean, this thing came out a long time ago, and it's it's almost like it's close to the theme of the Terminator. There's these military robots that escape, and they're programmed to kill. So when the military tries to stop them, even though these robots work for the military, they start fighting the military because they're defending themselves and they fight to like protect themselves and kill. And there's a cool ass scene where they're trying to capture this robot. And this robot is just beating the shit out of the army, man.
Yeah.
And it's doing all kind of things where people will try to approach it and his head will turn around and like limbs will turn around and start fighting people behind it while they're trying to catch it. And the main one that they're trying to catch is looks like a female with long hair. So it's it was a really kick ass, really violent scene. And then the other movie that I'm thinking of, it's a Miyazaki movie, Lupin, based on Lupin the Third.
Okay.
It's a famous anime based on his thief called Lupin, and Lupin the Third. And there's a movie that they made called The Castle of Cagliostro, and at the end of that movie, they have this really crazy ass fight scene in a clock tower. Like Lupin is trying to fight this duke or something in another country, and they go in this clock tower and they're going through all the gears and trying not to get crushed by the clock workings and fighting with swords. And you're looking at this and it's almost a cross between something like out of a Buster Keaton movie and some really cool animated sword fighting. So yeah, it is really funny.
Wow.
It's exciting and really funny. I think that they kind of took a cue from that for this other movie called, it's a Disney movie. You're going to laugh at me, but it's a really cool segment for this movie, called The Great Mouse Detective. I know.
Mouse detective.
The great. It's one of Disney's underrated movies, man. It's based on these books called Basil of Baker Street, and Baker Street is where Sherlock Holmes resided, and so on Baker Street there's a mouse who's of equal brilliance as Sherlock Holmes, and he has